Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Cruiser. I'm Simon. I'm your host for this evening, and basically, we're going to be covering some news, some questions that were asked of me. Now, I'd love to say they were asked of me by my thousands of subscribers, but given that the channel's only 2 days old, just by friends and people that I know who know that I used to be in the cruise industry, etc., etc. So the main news and the main question everybody's asking me is when are the cruise lines going to start sailing again? Now, this is it's not really a loaded question, but it's a question that I can answer given the news that I am reading. But the reality is nobody knows for sure because it really depends on the virus. And on that note, please, I hope everybody's staying safe and well out there, and getting all the help that they need if they need any, or helping others if you can. That's always great. But back to the news. So, and this is not my guess. This is reported from various different outlets that you can find online for sure. You don't have to listen to me, but and it's not all of the cruise lines, by the way. It's just the kind of the main cruise lines that we have here. So Carnival's proposed restart date is June 27th. The following sailings, though, are cancelled. All San Francisco sailings through till 2020. All Carnival Sunrise sailings through and including October 19, 2020. All Carnival Legend sailings through and including October 30th, 2020. And all Carnival Radiant sailings through and including November 1st, 2020. So Carnival's, excuse me, expected return date is June 27th. Celebrities is June 12th. That is the report from Celebrity. Cunard, Cunard's a strange one. Cunard's saying May 16th. Now, they initially proposed a date of April 11th, of course, as we all know, has been and gone. Now they're saying May 16th. Again, like I said the other day, I don't think that's going to happen. I think more the July, August time makes more sense to me. But again, we just don't know. Maybe it will. Fingers crossed. That would be great because it means the virus is getting under control worldwide. Disney Cruises say they will take to the waterways again on May 18th. Again, that sounds a little bit early for me, but that's what they said. Fred Olsen, May 23rd. MSC, May 30th. Norwegian has a restart date of May 15th. Again, that sounds crazy to me. P&O Cruises set to start sailing again on May 16th. That's P&O UK, not Australia. And Princess Cruises, they are due to get back in business by July 1st. Now, as we know, Princess was the hardest hit, the Ruby and the Diamond, with regards to infections on board and deaths and so forth. So they are scheduled back on July 1st. Royal Caribbean, June 12th. And Virgin Voyages hasn't really changed their date from a few days ago, which was August 7th, although they will say their inaugural season will start on July 15th. That's kind of all the big ones. Again, the caveat with this news is nobody really knows, honestly. I mean, these are the dates that are being bandied about by the cruise lines, but the reality is we just don't know. If you have any questions on specific other cruise lines, I can look into it for you. But for the most part, bar Norwegian and Cunard, most of them are saying around mid-June. Again, even that might be a little bit soon, but who knows? So that is your brief news on when cruises might be restarting. And now, other news. A lot of lawsuits are piling up with regards to the coronavirus. For me, this is a difficult one. I mean, some people are saying, the cruise lines knew and they didn't inform the passengers, etc., etc. The thing is about this particular incident is nobody really knew. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Nobody really knew what was happening, how severe it was, etc., etc. And what people that don't work on cruise lines or have never been on cruises, or even if you have been on cruises, may tend to forget is that a lot of information is withheld from the guests, but for a very good reason. They do it to stop a panic um, on board. You might hear announcements when you're on the cruise ships of, Alpha, 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 Bravo, 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 Charlie, 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 Delta, Delta, Delta. These are all codes that the cruise line uses for fire or bomb scare or, abandoned ship or, things like that. But if we think about it, if you were to say, oh, by the way, we've got a big, big fire in the engine room or in, whatever, there would be a panic on the ship. And, it's unnecessary most of the time because the fire would be taken care of. You got to understand that if you have 3,000 people, 2,000 people, 1,000 people panicking and running around like headless chickens, it makes the job of the crew on board a lot more difficult. So when they say that the cruise line knew and didn't inform people, etc., etc., I would guess that even if they knew that there were people who had contracted the virus and even the people who had died, again, you don't want to let that news flow around the ship because people will start freaking out. They'll want to disembark immediately, and you can't do that. So this news for me is, I'm sure it's true, and there probably are lawsuits, being lined up because of it. But being devil's advocate again, I say, although it's terrible for these people, there's not a lot of things that they can do about it. They're just trying to maintain order on the ship and not have it come into a full panic. That was the main thing. Just on a side note, again, I am not, and I repeat, I am not a stockbroker. I'm not, but I can add and subtract. And just I'm going to be buying a little bit of cruise line stock because I was looking into it yesterday, and Royal Caribbean stocks at the beginning of the year were in the $130 per share bracket. They're now down to $36, I believe. They were down to 22 a week or two ago, but I should have bought them then. But now they're back up to 37. So eventually, if you're okay with the long haul or the waiting game, the stocks, I'm sure will go back up again. This is my personal opinion. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. Please don't take my advice as gospel. I do not proclaim to be a stockbroker or have any inside knowledge of the stock market, but I can read the Financial Times and the New York Times stock exchange. It was at 130. It's now at 36. So if it goes back up to 130 and you buy at 36, you've made a few quid, a few dollars, whatever you want to say. Anyway, that was just a quick one. My name's Simon once again. This is Inside Cruiser. Please hit that like and subscribe button and the share button. We're a brand new channel, or I'm a brand new channel. Excuse me. This channel is for the fans, for fans of cruising, for everybody. As we get a little bit bigger, I'm going to be doing a lot of live shows, call-ins, streams where I'll take your questions, etc., etc. But for now, thank you so much if you've been watching. Again, just a little bit of news, and I will be back soon. And see you later. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Bye bye.